Beyond the Gates spoilers full. Welcome back to our channel, you beautiful, drama-obsessed souls. Today is a spectacularly chaotic day to dive into the absolute madness of our favorite town. Grab your emotional support water bottles, secure your wigs, and buckle up, because we are diving headfirst into a situation that requires our immediate and undivided attention. Let's get right into the tea. You guys, I am deceased. Stop what you are doing right now. I am literally shaking. Wait, we need to talk about this now, because I am genuinely, fundamentally unwell after processing the sheer, unadulterated cinematic mayhem that just went down on our screens. I'm literally filming this while I'm running errands, gripping my steering wheel like it owes me money, because I just had to jump on here and vent to you all. My soul has actually left my body, and I am currently operating on pure, unfiltered adrenaline and a concerning amount of iced matcha. I was mid-skincare routine when the Friday, August 21st episode aired, and I am not exaggerating when I tell you I smeared my expensive charcoal mask all over my pristine, cream-colored living room rug. Literally had to yeet my phone across the room because I could not handle the emotional damage that was unfolding before my very eyes. The stakes are astronomical, the vibes are absolutely putrid, and I am personally victimized by what is happening to our girl Chelsea right now. Send help, because I am spiraling into another dimension. Wait, backtrack for a second? I missed a step, because my brain is physically vibrating from the sheer audacity of this plotline. We need to talk about Chelsea and the absolute psychological masterpiece of trauma that is fully 100% resurfacing. If you watched the Friday, August 21 episode, you already know that Chelsea's past kidnapping trauma is back with an absolute vengeance. And when I say back, I mean it is tearing through her peace of mind like a runaway freight train, and I am hyperventilating right alongside her. Bestie, be for real right now. How much can one woman take? The writers are officially on my do not perceive list because I am so done with them torturing her for our entertainment. But also, I am entirely captivated and genuinely cannot look away. It's giving major I cannot even energy. And we are spilling all the tea right now because this situation is now my entire personality and I refuse to talk about anything else. Oh, hold on. I should have mentioned this earlier, but we have to rewind to exactly a year ago to fully grasp the gravity of this absolute dumpster fire. Do you guys remember Allison? Just saying her name makes me want to burn a whole bundle of sage in my car to cleanse the negative energy. A year ago, Allison straight up kidnapped Chelsea. Did I say that yet? Ugh, my brain is mush. Moving on, but seriously, the way Allison executed this was genuinely the most unhinged, sociopathic, single white female behavior I have ever witnessed on television. She didn't just grab Chelsea off the street in a random act of violence. She played the long, terrifying game. Allison stalked Chelsea on social media, meticulously liking, commenting, and mirroring her entire aesthetic. She infiltrated Chelsea's life by pretending to be her best friend. It was so incredibly insidious. And don't even get me started on the vibes of that fake friendship. It was basically a masterclass in psychological manipulation and gaslighting. I am clutching my chest right now because remembering the intricate details of that storyline is making me physically ill all over again. Allison befriended Chelsea, gained her ultimate trust, learned all her secrets, and then bam, held her hostage in that creepy, isolated, middle-of-nowhere cabin. Let's veer off into a completely random tangent for a second. Do you guys remember the interior design and the lighting in that cabin scene? It was so weirdly yellow and dim, like someone had put a dirty sepia filter over a horror movie, and there was always this faint, dripping background noise that genuinely made me want to rip my ears off. It was such a specific, terrifying aesthetic choice that made the whole hostage situation feel 10 times more claustrophobic and gross. Okay, wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. The point is, Chelsea was trapped in that cabin, entirely at the mercy of a woman who had essentially stolen her life and weaponized her trust. The trauma from that? Astronomical. You don't just bounce back from being held captive by your fake Instagram bestie. And now, because the universe of this show thrives on our collective suffering and high blood pressure, all signs are pointing to the horrifying reality that Allison might be starting a brand new, twisted plan. I am calling it right now, the villain arc is about to go nuclear. When we last saw Allison, she was being shoved into the back of a police cruiser, looking absolutely deranged, and we all breathed a massive, collective sigh of relief. We thought the Wicked Witch was gone. We thought Chelsea could finally begin the long journey to heal. But no, because this is the soap opera world, and the justice system in this town is basically a polite suggestion at this point. I am straight up spiraling over the implications here. Are we genuinely supposed to believe that the authorities just let her go? Or did she somehow mastermind an escape? I am losing my mind trying to figure out how this woman is back in the narrative. Let's dissect this tea for a second. Because the sheer incompetence of the police department in this universe is a topic that requires its own dedicated 10-page thesis. How do you casually lose a convicted, highly dangerous kidnapper? Did they accidentally leave the jail cell unlocked because they were too busy gossiping by the water cooler? Did Allison manipulate some gullible rookie guard with her fake sweet innocent persona? Or, and this is the theory that is currently making me want to scream into a pillow until I lose my voice, did someone on the inside actively help her escape, manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update? Because if it turns out there's a mole in the precinct who let Allison out, I am going to absolutely riot in the streets. I am genuinely so invested in this that I feel like I need to march down to the fictional station myself and demand answers from the chief of police. They had one job. One job. The very thought of Allison being out there, roaming free, potentially scrolling through Chelsea's social media grid again, is making my skin crawl right off my body. It's the ultimate violation of privacy and safety. Chelsea has spent an entire year trying to rebuild her life, trying to feel safe in her own skin, trying to trust people again, and now this invisible, terrifying threat is looming over her like a dark, suffocating cloud. The psychological warfare of not knowing if your abuser is watching you from the shadows is so incredibly heavy. The Friday, August 21 episode captured that sheer, paralyzing panic so perfectly. When that realization hit Chelsea, you could visibly see the color drain from her face, her breathing hitched, and I am not ashamed to admit that I started sobbing right there on my ruined rug. Real, ugly, mascara-running tears, you guys. I am far too emotionally fragile for this level of cinematic drama. But wait, let's pause the freak out for just a microsecond, because I need to talk about the one tiny glowing beacon of hope in this absolute abyss of despair. Catherine Kat Richardson. You guys, if Kat were a religion, I would be in the front pew every single Sunday singing her praises. Kat is stepping up to the plate, and I am totally living for it. As Chelsea's best friend, cousin, and business partner, Kat is basically the holy trinity of support. She is not just a shoulder to cry on. She is a fiercely protective, take-no-prisoners warrior who will absolutely destroy anyone who looks at Chelsea the wrong way. The bond between these two is the only thing keeping my grip on reality from completely slipping right now. Kat is the anchor in this storm, and I am bowing down to her loyalty. I need to heavily emphasize how crucial Kat is in this specific dynamic, especially right now. Kat has been digging into her own massive messes lately, like, hello? She's currently on Haley Hamilton's extremely dangerous radar because she's investigating Lynette Wise's disappearance, but the second Chelsea needs her, Kat drops absolutely everything. That is loyalty, besties. That is what we love to see in a family dynamic. Kat isn't just going to sit around and let Chelsea spiral into a dark, terrifying place. She is right by her side, holding her hand, anchoring her to the present moment when the PTSD threatens to pull her back into that horrible, dimly lit cabin. I am genuinely obsessed with their relationship. It is so pure, so real, and honestly, it's the only thing stopping me from fully losing my mind over this Allison situation. I mean, think about the extensive history these two women share. They aren't just family, they are highly successful business partners. They have built an empire together, relying on each other through thick and thin, through every single crisis. When Allison infiltrated Chelsea's life a year ago, it wasn't just a targeted attack on Chelsea, it was a massive threat to everything they had built together. Kat knows firsthand how manipulative, calculating, and dangerous Allison is. She saw the devastating aftermath. She helped pick up the shattered pieces of Chelsea's life. So you better believe that Kat is going to go absolute feral protective mode now. If Allison even breathes in Chelsea's direction, Kat is going to unleash a fury so intense that the entire town will feel the shockwave. I am manifesting a Kat versus Allison showdown, and I already know who I am betting my entire life savings on. Kat will end her. Did I say that yet? Ugh, my brain is mush. Moving on, but seriously, the stark contrast between Chelsea's raw vulnerability and Kat's fierce, unyielding strength is just brilliant, award-winning television. It's exactly what we need right now to balance the sheer terror of the plot. Chelsea is allowed to break down. She is allowed to feel the full, crushing weight of this trauma resurfacing. It is completely valid that the events of Friday, August 21, have triggered her so severely. PTSD isn't a straight line that you just walk away from. It's a messy, chaotic, terrifying loop, and the show is portraying it with such raw, unfiltered honesty. But having Kat there means Chelsea doesn't have to carry that crushing weight alone. Kat is the human shield, the emotional fortress, the ultimate protector. I'm literally hyperventilating right now just thinking about the potential scenarios for the upcoming week. What if Allison is already hiding in plain sight? What if she's wearing a ridiculous disguise? like a giant trench coat and oversized sunglasses indoors, just lurking at the local coffee shop, watching Chelsea and Kat. Okay, that's a completely unhinged thought, but honestly, with this show, nothing is off the table. I am constantly checking the background of every single scene now. If there is a slightly out of focus extra standing too close to Chelsea, I am zooming in and analyzing their bone structure to see if it's Allison. I have become a full-blown conspiracy theorist, and I am not okay. My friends are asking me to hang out this weekend, and I'm like, I can't. I have to monitor the perimeter of Chelsea's fictional life because the authorities clearly won't. And let's talk about the sheer, unadulterated audacity of Allison for a second. If she is indeed back, what is her ultimate endgame here? Is she trying to finish what she started a year ago? Does she want to kidnap Chelsea again and take her to an even dingier, worse-lit cabin with more dripping noises? Or is this going to be a prolonged psychological game of cat and mouse? Allison is the exact type of villain who thrives on making her victims feel crazy. She wants Chelsea to doubt her own reality. She wants Chelsea to look over her shoulder every 5 seconds, jumping at shadows. It's a sick, twisted power trip, and it genuinely makes me want to throw hands at my television screen. The fact that the authorities might have let this woman slip through their fingers is a betrayal of the highest order. They are officially on my do not perceive list. I am so done with the police in this town. They are practically useless. Wait, backtrack for a second. I missed a step. I need to talk about the social media aspect again because it is so incredibly relevant to how we all live today, which makes it even scarier. The reason Allison's initial kidnapping plot was so terrifying is because it tapped into a very real, modern fear. We all put our lives online. We all share our aesthetics, our favorite coffee shops, our daily routines, our outfits. Allison weaponized that normal behavior. She weaponized Chelsea's openness and turned it into a literal trap. So now, with the threat of Allison returning, Chelsea's entire digital life becomes a terrifying minefield all over again. Every new follower, every benign comment, every DM is a potential threat. How do you live like that? How do you run a successful public business with Kat when your very public presence is the exact thing that nearly got you killed? The layers to this trauma are so incredibly deep, I am literally drowning in them. I am clutching my steering wheel so hard my knuckles are completely white. You guys, I am so deep in the lore that my grip on reality is slipping fast. I am analyzing every single frame of the Friday episode like it's the Zapruder film. The way Chelsea's voice shook when she spoke, the way her eyes darted around the room looking for exits, the way Kat immediately recognized the shift in her cousin's energy and physically moved into her space to ground her. It was cinematic perfection. It was a 10/10 masterclass in acting, and I am submitting them both for every single award in existence. But my heart genuinely cannot take the stress. I am a fragile vessel of emotions, and this show is using me as a literal punching bag to test my endurance. Let's veer off into another completely random tangent. Did anyone else notice the subtle shift in the background music during that exact moment Chelsea realized the trauma was back? It went from this standard, generic soap opera transition music to this low, thrumming, almost heartbeat-like bass tone. It was so incredibly subtle, but it completely changed the entire atmosphere in the room. It felt like the oxygen was being sucked out of the scene. It's those tiny, brilliant aesthetic choices that make me so obsessed with this show, even when it's actively destroying my mental health and ruining my skincare routine. Okay, wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. The music, the acting, the trauma. It's all too much for one person to process on a Friday. I genuinely need to know what the writers are planning for the grand finale of this specific arc. Are we going to see Chelsea finally confront Allison face to face and take her power back once and for all? Or is Kat going to be the one to deliver the final, devastating blow? Because honestly, I would pay exceptionally good money to see Kat Richardson verbally and physically obliterate Allison. Kat doesn't play by the rules when her family is threatened, and we all know she has a temper. She is already dealing with Haley Hamilton's absolute nonsense, so her patience is literally in the negative digits right now. If Allison steps to Kat, it is going to be a total bloodbath, and I am entirely here for it. Manifesting this total dumpster fire by the next update, because we need absolute, undeniable justice for Chelsea, and we need it yesterday. It genuinely blows my mind how the writers can just drop a bomb like this on a Friday and expect us to go about our weekends like normal functioning members of society. Like, bestie, be for real right now. I am supposed to go grocery shopping and pretend that Chelsea isn't currently spiraling into a PTSD-induced panic attack. I am supposed to just buy my oat milk and act like a sociopathic kidnapper hasn't potentially escaped custody? The audacity. I am straight up vibrating with anxiety. Every time my phone buzzes, I jump, thinking it's a news alert about Allison being spotted in the DMV area. This show has completely rewired my nervous system. and I am genuinely considering sending the network a bill for my therapy sessions. And let's talk about the psychological toll on Kat for a second, because we cannot ignore her side of this. Kat is trying to be the strong one, the rock, the unbothered queen who has it all together, but you just know she is internally screaming. She has to balance running their business, investigating the Lynette Wise disappearance, dodging Haley's wrath, and now acting as a 24/7 bodyguard and emotional support system for Chelsea. That is an insane amount of pressure, which is honestly so unhinged when you think about it. If Kat snaps, the entire town is going to feel it. I am genuinely worried that Kat is going to burn herself out trying to protect everyone, but at the same time, I wouldn't trust anyone else to keep Chelsea safe. Kat is the ultimate MVP of this storyline, and if anyone disagrees, they are officially on my block list. I keep replaying the moment Chelsea's face fell in that episode. It's burned into my retinas. You could see the exact second the memories of the cabin flooded back into her mind. The fear was so palpable it felt like it was radiating through the screen. And the fact that this all stems from a social media stalker makes it so much more chilling. It makes you want to delete every app on your phone and move to a remote island with no Wi-Fi. But wait, that's basically what Allison did to Chelsea. Ugh, I can't even escape the parallels. The writing is too good, and it's making me too paranoid. I am basically living in a state of constant high alert, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I am officially wrapping this up before I completely lose my voice from screaming in my car, but you guys need to intimately understand that this situation is not a drill. We are on high alert. The trauma is real, the threat is potentially roaming free, and Chelsea needs our collective positive energy right now more than ever. Thank God she has Kat by her side, because if she were alone in this, I think I would actually have to check myself into a facility for exhaustion. I am going to go home, attempt to scrub the dried charcoal mask out of my rug, and probably rewatch the Friday episode 3 more times while crying into my cat's fur. Let me know in the comments how you are coping with this news, because I am genuinely, straight up, 100% not okay. Stay safe out there, besties. Keep your social media profiles on private and trust absolutely no one.